Hey guys, welcome to my not so monthly series where I review new fragrance launches and let you know whether they're worth getting or not. First up, we have Divine by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and this is the latest feminine release under the Classique portfolio of fragrances. It is playing on the sweet white floral trend that has just been taking the market by the storm this past year. The difference with this sweet white floral is that there is the addition of a C note. Initially, it opens of the likes of the Givenchy L'Interdit DNA, but then as it dries down, that salty cologne-like note is really going to come to the surface. And I'm sad to say that for me, the dry down was a big no-no because that C note was more like seaweed. It was too strong. It certainly didn't agree on my skin, but I do invite you to check it out if you love those sweet white florals. It does have a bit of an edge, and I think that it's a fragrance that will do really well. Burberry Goddess. This is going to be for you if you love vanilla. It has a trio of vanillas enriched with lavender. It immediately made me think of Mon Guerlain, like within that DNA, that sweet but aromatic DNA. I have compared the two fragrances side by side. Burberry Goddess is Mon Guerlain's more innocent, younger little sister. It does feel supernatural, like you're in a lavender field, picking lavender. That is the vibe that I get. Then it settles in an ultra creamy, sweet vanilla without being a sickly sweet vanilla. So it's more of a vanilla cream, like a whipped vanilla cream that it settles into. For me, this is a pretty good fragrance release, and I would highly recommend you check it out if you're really into vanilla scents. Next, we have Dioriviera by Dior. This is the latest addition to the private collection, and it's a pretty big deal because it's the first fragrance that Francis Kurkdjian created for the House of Dior since he's been signed to create the perfumes for Dior. For me, this perfume is very green, fresh, almost dewy fig scent. Almost smells like freshly cut grass filled with morning dew. So there's something that is watery, that is dewy, and the fig is a green to yellow fig. So it's not a jammy, succulent fig. It's more of a fig that has a bit of acidity, a bit of tanginess that is characteristic of the green to yellow figs variety. I do prefer the opening to the dry down. It doesn't sit very well on my skin, so for me this perfume is all right, but I invite you to check it out if you love more of the green, lush vegetation, natural smelling fig scents. So Paco Rabanne have launched two new perfumes, Fame Parfum and Phantom Parfum. Fame Parfum is for the ladies. This new version, it feels more of a creamy white floral meets a suntan lotion meets a ripe mango. A tropical twist. It is creamy, it is delicious, it's party appropriate. It feels more summery, fresh, and really fun. If you like the original, you'll probably also enjoy this one. I would recommend Fame Parfum if you're looking for something that is more intense, sweet, and tropical. And if you want something that isn't as sweet and perhaps a little bit more elegant, then I would go for the original. But as far as I think of this new release, I think it's a pretty good perfume. For the gentlemen, we have Phantom Parfum, and it's very different to the original Phantom DNA. With this new release, you're going to still get the lavender. Imagine taking some lavender flowers, rubbing them in between your fingers and smelling your fingers. You also have a warm, woody, resinous base. So I will say with the parfum, there is a lot going on. You have that tart, fruity greenness, the warmth from resins, and then a aromatic freshness from lavender. So you're kind of pulled in all directions. With that in mind, I would say it's more of a polarizing scent and perhaps more of a riskier purchase. Is more evening, nighttime appropriate. It feels almost a little bit more formal. And because there's so much going on, there's a lot of complexity to this scent, and it feels niche-like. So it's not your typical designer cologne, if you will. It has a bit of an edge. Penhaligons have launched a summery scent. It is called Solaris. You probably can see here how much I've used of it. I really, really enjoy this scent, and I'm gonna flat out tell you, this is a 10 out of 10 new fragrance release. It really does smell like summer. Imagine you are crushing up some black currant and then you're adding a squeeze of lemon to create the most delicious coulis. This is how this fragrance opens up. So it's tangy, it's fruity, it's fresh, and then that will leave place to a beautiful heart of ylang ylang and jasmine. It's creamy, it's exotic, it's balmy. Imagine applying the most luxurious suntan lotion on warmed skin. This is what this perfume makes me think of. Great for the hot, really scorching hot summer days because it will refresh you from the citruses, but then also give you a warm, balmy feeling from the florals. Not the best lasting power, I will admit, but otherwise I have no complaints. I highly recommend you check it out. We also have a new perfume by Bvlgari. It's called Passeggiata. The bottle is just stunning. The scent itself is musk, ylang ylang, so it's meant to be more of a tropical, exotic floral. I'm not gonna lie, I am not mind blown by this perfume. I do not think this is worth 100, how much is it? 140 pounds for 50 ml and over 200 for 100 ml. No, I would not spend my money on this. Initially, it's bright and uplifting. You have the ylang ylang that's present, but also a fruity notes. I'm not quite sure what kind of fruity notes, but unfortunately it feels very sweet and sort of chokes out the ylang ylang, if that's even possible. The dry down is drastically different than the opening, so you don't have that fruity sweetness. It turns more into a powdery, musky, floral scent that frankly lacks a little bit of character. So for me, I've seen better when it comes to perfumes within this DNA, and especially for the price point, I definitely would not blind buy this and try it on your skin. YSL have launched yet another flanker under the Libre franchise. It is Libre Platine. I love this new packaging. The metallic touch is stunning. I have to say, it does smell good. Is it drastically different? No. Do you need it? Probably not, unless you're a collector, then maybe you do. This perfume bridges a gap within the Libre line. So for me, it sits between a Libre Intense and the Eau de Toilette. So if you thought that the Libre Intense was a little bit too sweet for you and you're like, the Eau de Toilette is maybe lacking a bit of personality, well, the Platine sits right in the middle, and I think it's the perfect middle ground between the two. I love the way that it smells. I like the fact that there's the addition of aldehydes, which is gonna add a sparkling pop to the perfume, especially when you first spray it. And the longevity is great as well. I think it's a pretty good perfume. I'm a big fan of Libre, so I will probably end up purchasing it. All of Me by Narciso Rodriguez. The pro is that it is different to the other musks from Narciso Rodriguez. The con is that it is different to the other musks from Narciso Rodriguez. So just let me explain. Narciso Rodriguez is well known for creating beautiful, clean, crystalline musks with a soft femininity. Honestly, they are the best designer brand when it comes to musk scents. This new release falls a little flat. It gives a lychee rose martini vibe, which is cute, something that could have been released maybe in the 90s by Cacharel or Yves Rocher. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think it doesn't have the same wow factor than the other musk perfumes that the brand has. So for me, this perfume is a pass, and I think that there are better fragrances to reach out for within the Narciso Rodriguez line. We have a new perfume by Kenzo. It is Flower Ikebana. If you have tried any of the fragrances within the rest of the range, you know that the star of the show is Poppy, whereas here it's all about peony and tuberose. When you think of peony perfumes, you think of something that is wispy, fresh, and delicate and soft. This is not the way that it's done in this perfume. The peony is more of a whisper. It's a little bit shy. I get mainly a heady tuberose scent. You also have the addition of buckwheat tea, which is very unusual. It's gonna add a toasted nutty tea effect. It's a pretty perfume, nothing spectacular and groundbreaking. For me, this perfume is all right, and the lasting power is moderate, so you're not gonna get something that is crazy projecting or super long lasting either. That being said, if you want a different twist to the original Kenzo, have a sniff of this. I personally prefer the original. Nothing beats the original flower in my opinion. Now, Kayali have launched limited edition wedding fragrances. We have Silk Santal and Velvet Santal. So I'm going to start off with the wedding Silk Santal. This was Mona's fragrance. And I'm gonna read off the notes here. You have sparkling champagne, freesia, pink praline, lush nectarine, sandalwood, and sugared musk. The first impression of this perfume is that it is a pillowy, soft floral. It almost feels like you're pressing your cheek against a plush silk pillow. There is a creamy white floral DNA, yet again, that is happening in this scent. Along the lines of a Voce Viva or Prada Paradox, I would say if you like those two perfumes, you'll probably really enjoy this one. And a creamy vanillic base. I'm a huge fan of sweet white florals and I'm on a huge kick right now. So for me, this is right up my alley. I think this is a pretty good fragrance. The only issue with this, it doesn't last a very long time, though the projection on this is decent. Velvet Santal, on the other hand, was Mona's husband's scent, and it is a milky yet velvety sandalwood dominant perfume. It is really warm and inviting. Yeah, I really like this. I actually prefer the way that this smells versus the Silk Santal. They're very close, I like both, but I was immediately drawn to this. And there's something that is really classy about it and sophisticated. It feels like a black tie appropriate perfume. It reminds me a little bit of Eau Jaune by Parfum de Marly, minus the spices and the apple cinnamon pie thing going on. The only downfall to this perfume is the fact that it is not long lasting, nor does it project. It's very soft and sits super close to the skin. I would have ranked it in the pretty good category with the other perfume. Unfortunately, because of the performance issues, I'm gonna put it within the all right category, which is such a shame because it's a beautiful perfume, but I want to be able to smell it a little bit more. Memo have released a new perfume called Inverness, and it is an ode to Inverness, which is a place in the Highlands in Scotland. If you've watched Outlander, you probably know this place. I'm a huge fan of that show. Inverness is going to be for you if you love orris butter and smoky, dry woods. I want you to imagine that you're spending the day outdoors in nature. It's a little bit cold and you're coming home to a really cozy, toasty wooden cabin. Because this perfume, the orris root feels earthy, it's powdery, giving that impression of being out in nature, yet there is that breath of fresh air. And as it settles, the smokiness from Gaiac wood is gonna come through, as well as the creaminess from sandalwood, which for me makes me think of sitting by the fireplace in a wooden cabin. Lasting power is good, and I think this would be a lovely number for the fall and winter season. So this is a pretty good fragrance. Bad Boy Extreme by Carolina Herrera. This fragrance has to be my new favorite chocolate, delectable, sweet, but not too sweet men's cologne. Gentlemen, if you want a new date night scent, go for Bad Boy Extreme. Oh my God, it's so good. It smells like a milk chocolate with specks of almond crunch. Let me say that again. Milk chocolate with almond crunch, but without being too sweet. So the freshness balances everything out. It smells so freaking good. I love it. It is sexy. I will say the opening is more delicious and mouth-watering versus the dry down. The dry down feels more along the fresh, woody DNA that is found in the original. So that's why I'm putting it in the pretty good category and not a 10 out of 10, because I just wish that edible factor lasted the entire duration of the perfume. Do we need another raspberry leather fragrance? I feel like this DNA has been overdone and done again. We really don't need something new. Until I discovered the new Cuir Gorna by Latizen Parfumeur. This is my favorite raspberry leather scent ever. I already know what you're gonna ask me. How does this compare to Tuscan leather by Tom Ford? Tuscan leather is more grossier, as I would say in French. I don't even know how to say this in English. It's a little bit more in your face, you know? This is sophistication taken to the maximum. Amazing. You have just picked fresh raspberries with the leaves, with everything, and you have the smell of the leaves on your fingers and you're eating those raspberries. This is what the opening smells like. It is so intensely raspberry and delicious. It's so mouth-watering. And as the fragrance settles, that's when you're gonna get the leather. It's not a leather that is too strong. I would say it's on the suede-like side of leather, and the dry down is where the magic happens in the scent. I cannot tell you this perfume, I don't know what's in there, but I am addicted to this dry down. That's all I wanna smell. It is so addictive, so attractive, so sexy. I want to smell this all day. This perfume is a 10 out of 10. Unisex, leaning more towards masculine. Gentlemen, if you want a refined, either black tie or evening scent that will impress the ladies, leave a beautiful, intoxicating trail, and a fragrance that is long-lasting, definitely check this one out. We got two more fragrances. Both are super strong ouds. The first one is Oud Stallion by Maison Crivelli. This is currently exclusive in Harrods. If you are looking for a super bold, super potent and strong leathery oud scent with a sprinkle, just a sprinkle, a dash of almond-like sweetness, this is gonna be for you. I'm gonna tell you a little story. So before perfume, my #1 hobby and passion was horse riding. I have been horse riding since I was 6 years old. I had my own horse. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because Oud Stallion brings me back to the days when I was horse riding. The leathery side of the tack, the sweaty horse almost, not that this perfume smells animalic or anything, but there's an effect that's there. And it just feels quite nostalgic to me, and it's really, really beautiful. I would highly recommend it if you are into strong leathery perfumes and you want a twist on a traditional leather and oud scent. I would say this is a pretty solid release from Maison Crivelli, and if you are around in the UK, it is available in Harrods to have a little sniff. Finally, we have Opus 15. XV is 15, right? King Blue by Amouage. This perfume was kindly gifted to me by the brand. It is worth $500, which is probably one of my most expensive fragrances. You have mandarin, amber, oud, blackcurrant, leather, patchouli, and frankincense. Upon first spray, this fragrance is a very strong, very powerful, pungent oud scent. You can really smell the beast in this fragrance, or the fecal matter of the beast, if you will. I am clearly not the target consumer for this perfume. This pungent oud notes doesn't go away. It's always there, lingering in the background. I wish it wasn't as strong, because otherwise I would have loved this scent. And there's other things going on, I'll tell you in a moment, but that pungent oud is very present. The addition of blackcurrant and mandarin adds a nice fruity, zesty twist to the scent, which in the air, whenever I'm wafting it with a blotter and I go like this, I'm like, oh, this smells really good, but on the skin, I cannot. So for me, this perfume is a pass. However, if you are into Amouage and into stronger animalistic ouds, you'll probably really enjoy this, but that was my take on it. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. Bye.